Hello, today I'll be using the N paint set to paint pale skin on my very large Gargant model. So this is the paint set. I've chosen the grey paint set because it looks really interesting. I'll be using all of the colours, and yeah, I've never used it before, but I've been very curious. I've got actually a big stack of paints, like paint sets I got from Kickstarter and so on, in my cupboard, and I thought it's about time to start using them and see what all the fuss is about, you know, because obviously I bought them for a reason, not because I'm a hoarder, I hope. So the first one is Blue Mountain. This is just basically a base coat. I'm using an airbrush for this tutorial, but you really can use dry brushing techniques. So now it's sand grey. It looks brown in the pot, but when I spray it on, it's a lot brighter. So say if you don't have an airbrush, you can get some paint on your brush and then aim the brush downwards when you dry brush. So it's like a zenithal but with dry brushing, and that should do the trick. You might have to go up on some parts of it where the muscles connect, but you can probably judge that by yourself. The easiest part is the belly and the pectoral muscles and the legs, so they'll be the easiest places to dry brush. Sky grey now. This is a lighter tone. This will be added to the center of the muscles, if that makes sense, or the highest areas, just to have a nice transition between the dark shadows to the lightest parts, which is, you know, the middle of each muscle. So again, it's a zenithal. This is how it looks. So it's pretty cool already, I feel, but it's not strong yet. So now I'm using darkness grey. First off, I experimented with watering it down, lots of water, and I just went over the model and treated it like a shade. When it dried, it was a bit patchy in some areas. That was probably too much water. Maybe I should try it with Lamian medium. Maybe that would be more suitable. Anyway, I went over it again as well, over the areas that I wanted to make darker, and I added a bit less water. Like here, I'm being more precise. And now with the darkness blue, I put it in an airbrush just to experiment with airbrushing in precise areas, like where the muscles are the deepest, or where the shadow, like kind of a reverse zenithal, where you go, instead of aiming from the top, you go from below and try to catch all the shadows that way, which could also be a reverse dry brush you can do as well. And you may add a bit too much paint into some areas, like the shoulder for example, but don't worry, because I'll be going back soon with a lighter color, a mid-tone color, to tie it all together, and then I'll go over it with a even brighter color to really accentuate the shadows and the light parts. So now I'm using Sky Grey, and this should be the brightest color from the set, and I'm just aiming it into the center of the larger muscles, and then for the rest of it, I'm doing a zenithal. So you see it just touched the shoulder a bit, and it had a nice little, and you can see the wrinkles in the armpit, and I move the brush a bit further away when I do that, because I want it to like mist, I guess that's the right word, mist it. There you go. So it's very pale now, but it's not pale enough. So I'm using Deepkin Flesh from Citadel, and I'm just using this as like a super strong highlight where the moonlight would be catching it. So I'd only focus on, like, you know, on the leg that's sticking forward, and the belly, of course. Actually, I'll do it over the whole model, but it'd be more prominent on this leg, the belly, and the pectoral, and his hand also, and the back of his leg here. That might be catching some moonlight. And you see, I'm just zenithing it. Can't even say it now. Zenithing it? Is that a real word? Anyway, you know what I mean. So I'm just doing that. I'm just catching it. I get a bit close sometimes. It just go with the feeling when you're using this airbrush. But again, you can do it again with dry brushing. So now is Pallid Witch Flesh, another Citadel paint range. This is a super precise highlight where I'm just catching the muscle, the most prominent muscles. You see here, you can see more of the shadow in between it now. And I used the wrong brush, but basically what I'm doing, I'm drawing lines with Pallid Witch Flesh. See, it's a bit too thick. I should have used a more finer brush. And I'm just going across and creating some texture on the skin and building some interest. So I know I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely should have used a smaller brush. If you found the tutorial useful, please subscribe, like, give me a comment, and I'll make more videos. Thank you.